Hello, everyone. It's me, Varun, and I'm here again with Josh. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're doing well too.
Absolutely. One of the questions we get asked a lot, especially because it's plastered on our homepage, is why do we say we're the Indie Creators Virtual Tabletop? What makes us the Indie Creators Virtual Tabletop? Uh, and I'm here to talk to you about how we do that, right? Uh,
Yeah.
we're both indie creators. We've both got an idea of what it's like to be on the other side of things, right? Tell me how it feels to be an indie creator, Josh, as someone who's published a book.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things you got to keep track of, and a lot of things you got to manage. And I can tell you that the lion's share of my time spent working on my publishing projects isn't actually spent writing or doing the fun parts of game design. It's spent managing budgets and in spreadsheets and trying to do marketing and maintaining a website and all that stuff. There's a lot going on and there's a lot of pressure. And so, one of our big goals with Hedron and how we're trying to support these game designers and creators and publishers is by alleviating some of the pressure around selling books, around building a community on a platform, and basically in giving them tools at their disposal in order to help their game reach new audiences. There's a whole lot more. We've got all kinds of tools to help creators at every step of the way, and we can break into that. I want to hear from you. What do you think it looks like to be an indie creator focused platform? What does that mean to you, Varun? Because ultimately, like Hedron, this is your baby.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as you said, right, on the nose, like it is a lot of things you have to do to make something like Paragons, right? It is, you have to do artwork, you have to do the writing, the everything. You basically have to wear 50 billion hats. And the number of hats never seems to go down, it always seems to go up. Uh, and I think one of the missions for Hedron from the get go was to make it so it's more accessible to get the things you need to succeed as an indie creator, right? So Hedron not only make like our core mission has always been we make it so you can build a rule system without having all of the programming experience, the engineering experience, whatever, right? Let me do that. You guys just focus on writing good content. Making that accessible, making that pathway open opens up so many doors, right? So if you're a small publisher, right? Paragons, for example, right? Your audience is big, but it's not huge. It's not D&D, right? How do you keep up against when D&D has their own platform for just themselves? That's a whole engineering department versus one person trying to write a book and also art it and also layout and also everything else, right? And so that's kind of our mission here at Hedron is to try to solve those problems, try and make it easier, take one thing off of the many plates that you're sort of spinning and make it so your game can succeed in a world that's increasingly more digital. I mean, the pandemic was only like a couple of years ago, and no one could do anything physical after that, right? Or during that, especially. And
Yeah.
then after that, it kind of stuck around. The importance of digital tools gets bigger and bigger every year. And I think that's our mission to make it easier to have those for your game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and in this day and age, with how online we are and the industry is, um, more people are playing online than ever before. There's plenty of home games, there's plenty of games at local game stores, but more people are playing online. And a lot of people are looking to online games first, right? They'd rather play with their friends that live in another city, or they'd rather play with their friends that live in another country, rather than go try and get a game organized out in the meat space. Um, and
Yeah.
so,
Well,
just to finish my thought there, right? If we can support folks who want to have their games played online and have really high quality digital support for those games, that effectively brings indie gamers and indie creators up to par with what some of the biggest names in the games industry already have, because there are great tools out there. But if you aren't a $1 million company, and if you aren't selling hundreds of thousands of dollars of copies of your game, you're not gonna have the ability to pay a bunch of software developers to make something custom, and it's expensive. to get these conversions made for some of these other VTTs where you need a software developer in order to make something that really works.
Yeah, and then ultimately the people who lose, like, yeah, sure, there's a business aspect to it, but really it's the indie gamers that lose at the end of it, right? How many games are out there? Like, or I guess even simple question, how often do you look on like the r/RPG Reddit or something and see someone asking, does X game have digital support? And the answer is no, right? The famous example I point out all the time is, close to my heart, Pathfinder 1E still doesn't have great tools. And it's been quite a bit of time. Sure, there are tools out there that are great, but nothing really solves the virtual tabletop problem. Nothing really lets you play with your friends across cities. Nothing really like enables that gameplay. And for Pathfinder, that's a huge problem because it's such a crunchy game, right?
Yeah.
And the same is true of so many other games out there. So many hidden gems that if they just had some way to like get digital tooling, they'd probably see a lot more play. And that's really what we're trying to do, is help indie gamers play their favorite games or show new people games that they probably love. They just don't know it yet because they never found it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you mentioned Pathfinder First Edition because that's the thing that we've talked about in the past. One, but two, one of the things that I think digital tools do so well is they provide a teaching resource. It is so much easier to learn to play a game when you have a guided character building experience. It is so much easier to learn a game when you go, oh, I feel like there's something like this in the rules. Let me just go look it up really quickly, and have the ability to type it in a search bar rather than pull out a book and flip through it, or go through a PDF that isn't well indexed and have to just find the words somewhere out there. Especially, right, trying to find specific words like spells in a massive like fantasy book. Like, great, there's 1,000 instances of spells in this book. Which one are you looking for?
Including the word spelling, mind you.
You're right. And everyone knows that the word spelling appears in so many tabletop rule books. But all that to say, right, it is a really great onboarding tool, and it's a really important accessibility tool. One of the things that I really took away from some of my past job experience is how many folks rely on digital tools who are blind or have visual impairments, or they need additional help with other parts of the game, right? A lot of us are bad at math. Having a tool that does the math for you is huge. But if you don't have any sort of digital support and you've got like a weird funky dice system, there's no easy way to teach that unless you've got someone who knows the game, who is running it, who can teach it to a group of new players. Is that possible? Yes, but it's a lot harder than, hey, here's a tool, it does everything for you, it teaches you how it works, but does that all behind the scenes so you don't really have to sweat about it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point too, especially because some people might not know some of our staff, actually, people who work for Hedron, actually have dyscalculia and have difficulties understanding numbers. So like 100% on the head. Not to mention, we've been working recently, like in the last couple of weeks, with some of the accessibility consultants over at Able Gamers, Nomnamore, and so on, trying to think about the experience for people who have disabilities and who need access to some sort of tool in order to play their favorite games. Because otherwise, they're just stuck playing the same 5 games all the time when there's such a whole catalog out there of different kinds of games that are really valuable and really enjoyed by a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to transition us here. Let's get down to brass tacks. What does this look like when we say, hey, we support indie creators, we're all about, indie gaming? What tangible things do we do? Because it's easy to talk the talk, it's harder to walk the walk. What are we doing that makes it easier for these indie gamers? How are we helping them?
No, 100%. That's a great question. We always say we are the banner carriers of the games on our platform, right? So every time we work with a game, it's not just, hey, we work with them once and we get their game on and then yay, everyone's happy and we're done. No, we carry that banner time and time again. You were with us at Gen Con. you saw our flyers. Our flyers don't really even feature us. They're about featuring the games we support, about helping people see the games that they can play if they try out Hedron, right? And remind you, we're free, right? So people can go try out these games, people can get demos, people can learn about these games. And that's just one of the many ways we carry this banner. We also do interviews with our publishers, trying to get some conversation, get them some more visibility and traction. We always are posting about our publisher partners. I mean, just look at our Instagram. It has almost none of our logo, has plenty of everyone else's, though, which is great. And also, we run games now. This is something new we're trying out this year, as you know, where we're going to be running organized play sessions of games that otherwise you might not hear about. And actually, everyone will be hearing more about this very soon, because we're organizing digital events and in-person events for that kind of thing. So really solidifying this, we are the banner carriers. We are the champions of the games that we work with, first and foremost, because that's really important. Because honestly, one of the hardest parts about being an indie gamer is finding the right game. I mean, there's a lot of games out there. Not everyone wants to be a pirate, but not everyone wants to be a ninja. So, there's a lot of like nicheness and finding the right kind of place in that. So that's just the beginning of like how we do all of that. But you knew that. We carry the Paragon's banner just as much.
It's true, and I appreciate having the resource out there for folks who want to learn the game, and I enjoy that. It means that when you guys are going to conventions, I have a place to make sure that my books will be sold, even if I'm not going to be there myself. Although I do try to attend a lot of conventions. I just like going to conventions. Is really what it boils down to. It's my like one social outlet,
Well, I like you going to conventions because you come with us.
Hey, sick. Love that. Well, we'll have to plan some more conventions. To that end, right? We've talked about some things that we can do. I feel like what's kind of the underlying theme there, the thing that underpins everything that you've just said, right? We're banner carriers, we do all those things. It is a partnership. We very much want to be the place that indie creators, indie publishers want to have their games published. And we do this in a lot of ways. We are really doing our very best to make this as enticing of a value proposition as we can. And we do that by offering a really great profit share, the industry-leading profit share of 80% to our publishing partners. That's huge, right? We want to make sure that when you buy a copy of a game on Hedron, the majority of that money goes to the publisher and not to us. We get your support through subscriptions. If you like what we're doing, pay that subscription. We want to make sure that when we sell you a copy of a game like Punk is Dead, that Critical Kit, the publishers behind Punk is Dead, are the ones who get that money.
And we do that without being exclusive, right? We want to keep that power in the publisher's hands. So it keeps us accountable. It makes sure that publishers don't feel trapped and have to work with a platform they don't like. It's really about putting their needs first.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, right? Like, if we have the best, most compelling offer, publishers are going to want to work with us because it's the best and most compelling offer. The idea of locking someone into, an exclusivity agreement, if the publisher wants to be exclusive with us, great. Not going to say no to that. But
hey, that's Critical Kit.
It is Critical Kit. We like those guys. But right, that's their choice. We don't want to lock anybody in, because if they can get a better deal out there, they should take it. That is as indie friendly as we can be. Something that we just recently added to the platform too is the PDF. So when you purchase a game, you get the PDF and the VTT conversion with the digital reader and the character builder and all the other goodies that come with a virtual tabletop like ours. But if you just want the PDF, you just want to read it, it's available. It's right there. We can do that for you too. And the best profit share out there that you're going to find for PDF platforms still isn't as good as 80/20. So we're really doing our best to make this the most compelling place where, as a creator, if you go, I want to sell my product somewhere, the first place that comes to your mind, we want it to be Hedron. We want you to be so excited about working with us, about being our partner, that you come to us, you send us a little email and say, hey guys, I want to put my game on your platform. XOXO, love you so much, bye. Or whatever.
Well, yeah,
I don't
and
know.
then I get excited about that. Like my favorite emails to wake up to, I mind you, I wake up to a lot of emails. My favorite ones are always, hey, a partner of ours referred someone else because they just really liked it. And I get to see like, wow, like people are really excited about working with us. And I think it's really about like reinforcing to everyone, right? Like it's showing we are what we say we're doing, right? We're not just saying we're the best or we're the like fastest or the most efficient or whatever. The important mission is we are the most creator centric. And that part only gets reinforced and more emphasized by people showing it to their other friends, right?
Yeah.
If you're a creator who's not really happy with us, I doubt you're going to go give it to your buddies. But time and time again, a lot of our new publishers are actually friends of other publishers, which just really goes to show like being creator centric really is a core part of how we operate. But that's only like after you've made the game, right? There's so much more that we do that's in the middle of that, in the process of making your game, before making that game. There's just so many pieces into being a publisher that we support. And even like after you've made your game, we have all these opportunities that we talk to you one-on-one with, like, hey, can we help you with this? Can we help you with that? Whatever we can do to help you succeed. Even like if it means like, hey, we can give some free Hedron memberships with your book sales. So that way people don't have to buy the product twice in physical and digital form. Trying to make it so it's as consumer and publisher friendly as possible, because really we're all just here to play games. We're here to roll funny math rocks and have some laughs, right?
Yeah, well, it's tabletop role playing games are about community. It's about the relationships around the table and the stories being told. I think you're 100% right about that. You mentioned providing additional support to game creators before having the book published. And that kind of touches on a thing that I think we should maybe, I mean, there's probably a whole separate video conversation about it, but let's just touch on that very briefly here. What does that look like? How do we help creators before they've got the game published?
That's a great question. We have two different things we do. If you're a publisher, like you've already published a book, you've already made Paragons 1, but you want to make Paragons 2 Electric Boogaloo, right? Then we have a path where, hey, we partner with you in your crowdfunding. We help you get a demo up and running rather than just, selling you a, like, here's your final price to get your game up. And instead, we don't charge you anything. We just try to work with you to get that game up, get a demo out, and then we give you a bulk discount on the codes that you want to give out to your backers. So we're really just participating in your backer kit as like another add-on, as another participant to try and help your crowdfunding succeed. But that's assuming you already know what you're doing. For a lot of indie creators, they don't really have an idea of what it takes to create a crowdfunding successful. The amount of times I've had, threads on the internet asking about like, how do I make my game successful? Or how do I get my game out there? How do I do a crowdfunding? If once a day, I can find a thread like that.
Yeah.
And what we do now is, and we will have a whole video on this later, but the guild program is something we are really happy to be doing now. We started it like mid last year, and it's a program where you come to us with your book, your manuscript, just the text. You don't need anything else. And you show us that like, hey, I've got the tenacity to write the book. I've got the grit to get through the book. Help me make it something beautiful. And then we work with you. We fund your artists. We fund your editors. We fund the various creators that you might need to collaborate with in order to make your book as beautiful as Paragons is, or Call to Power, or D&D, or anything else out there. And that kind of support is something that I've personally never seen in the tabletop industry, but I think it's such an important part of helping people realize their creative visions and helping those creative visions get to the people who are looking for them. They just haven't found them yet.
Yeah, our goal for the guild program, and we will have to do a full video about this in the future, is really to create an on-ramp for up-and-coming game designers to get their own thing published. There aren't a lot of great mentorship programs and training opportunities unless you get hired as like a junior designer at the one company that can afford to hire junior designers. There's not a great learning experience beyond just doing it yourself. So our opportunity here, our goal really is to say, hey, we want to make it possible for someone to have that learning experience while making the thing themselves. That's what the guild program is all about. We're kind of running out of time on this particular video. I want to make sure that, we keep things short and sweet and to the point, but I think it would be a huge miss, Varun, if we didn't end this video by talking about an indie game that we really love or are really excited about. I'm happy to go first, but I'm also happy to let you go first if you got one that you're...
You go first.
Okay. Well, talk about indie games. I recently had an opportunity to play a one-page RPG by Grant Howitt. Of course, he's great and has written a whole bunch of phenomenal one-page games like Honey Heist. He's also does things with Rowan Rook and Deckard, and they've got some cool stuff over there. I recently played a game called Sexy Battle Wizards, and it is exactly what it says on the tin. You are a sexy battle wizard, and you have to go somewhere, overcome some incredible challenge by either being sexy, doing battle, or casting some really cool spells. And it's really goofy. The session that I played got kind of... it went from PG-13 to raunchy real fast. But it was a lot of fun. It was real goofy. And, my face hurt so much from how hard we were laughing. And that was such a great session. I love a good one-page RPG because you can do some really fun, really innovative, quirky things and lean into the chaos and the goofy parts of role-playing games.
Yeah, no, definitely. That sounds like a good time. I think the best sessions are the ones where you either your face hurts from laughing or crying, one of the two.
Yeah.
Both are good outcomes, in my opinion. I asked you to go first because I had to think about it, but I did think of an answer. I thought of Guild Moral, which is actually part of our guild program. And that's genuinely because I am so excited to show the world Guild Moral. It is a phenomenal book. You see the creator's passion in everything they do. It's why we work with them. It is a techno-gothic werewolf hunting, monster hunting experience where it's basically you're a monster hunter in a world where techno-gothic nightmares are roaming around. Think like Witcher crossed with like electronics and cyberpunk.
Okay.
Very interesting experience. And every bit of everything that's been designed for that game is gorgeous, beautiful, extremely well designed. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, awesome. I've got the files. I need to go sit down and take a look through that. Seems like maybe it's up my alley.
And see the trailer. That trailer is beautiful.
Oh, well, I do love a good trailer. Hey, that's all for now. We'll be back with more conversations just like this where we talk about the industry and gaming and Hedron. But for now, like, subscribe, share, say something in the comments if you thought this was an insightful conversation. If you've got a question, let us know. And we'll be back real soon.